The untold truth about 50 Cent goes far beyond what most fans know. Curtis James Jackson III wasn't just another kid from Queens. He was a survivor from day one. Born in 1975 to a teenage mother who dealt drugs to support them, 50's life was marked by tragedy when his mom was murdered when he was just 8 years old. Forced to live with his grandparents, young Curtis started hustling on the streets by age 12, selling crack during the height of the 80s crack epidemic. This wasn't a career choice. It was survival in South Jamaica, Queens. What most people don't realize is that before the bulletproof vests and fame, 50 was arrested numerous times, even spending time in a boot camp prison as a teenager. But the streets were teaching him business skills that would later transform him into a mogul. The turning point in 50's life wasn't getting signed to a record label, it was getting shot 9 times in 2000. Left for dead outside his grandmother's house, 50 survived bullets to his hand, arm, hip, legs, chest, and face. One bullet leaving a permanent hole in his cheek and affecting his speech. The assassination attempt came just as Columbia Records was about to launch his career. The label dropped him immediately, believing the shooting made him too controversial. Most artists would have given up, but 50 turned this near-death experience into fuel, releasing the legendary mixtape Guess Who's Back. That caught Eminem's attention. What most don't know is that before Eminem and Dr. Dre signed him, 50 had already invested in bulletproof car windows and was performing in a bulletproof vest. When Get Rich or Die Tryin' dropped in 2003, it wasn't just another debut album. It was a cultural phenomenon that sold 872,000 copies in its first week. The album's dark, gritty production and 50's unapologetic delivery changed the sound of mainstream hip-hop overnight. What's rarely discussed is how calculated 50's business moves were from the beginning. While other rappers were focused solely on music, 50 was already planning his empire, studying the contracts and business deals of every artist before him who'd been exploited by the industry. What truly separates 50 Cent from his peers isn't just his music, but his business acumen. His early investment in Vitamin Water might be his most legendary move. When Coca-Cola bought the company for $1 billion in 2007, 50's stake, which he'd accepted instead of a traditional endorsement fee, netted him an estimated $300 million. But here's what most don't know. 50 has admitted he had no idea the deal would be that lucrative. He simply believed in the product and was willing to gamble on himself rather than take the safe upfront money. His G-Unit clothing line generated over $100 million in revenue in its first years, but 50's shrewdest move may have been his transition into television production. When traditional television networks passed on his show Power, 50 took it to Starz, a smaller network willing to give him creative control. What began as a single show evolved into an entire universe of spin-offs that transformed Starz's subscription numbers. The Power universe became one of the most watched franchises on premium cable, with 50 serving not just as executive producer, but often directing and occasionally appearing on screen. His production company, G-Unit Film and Television, now has a multi-year deal with Starz worth an estimated $150 million. Behind the scenes, 50's been fighting his own battles. He declared bankruptcy in 2015 despite his apparent wealth, a strategic legal move to protect his assets during a lawsuit. He restructured his debts and emerged stronger, proving once again his ability to turn setbacks into comebacks. What's rarely mentioned is that during this same period, 50 was quietly investing in real estate and diversifying his portfolio, showing a level of financial sophistication that belied his public persona. 50's social media presence reveals another dimension of his business genius. His trolling and public feuds aren't just entertainment. They're calculated marketing moves that keep his name relevant and his brands in the spotlight. When he bought 200 front-row tickets to J. Rule's concert just to keep them empty, it wasn't just petty revenge. It was brilliant marketing that generated millions in free publicity. The man who once rapped "I'll take you to the candy shop" has transformed into one of entertainment's most versatile entrepreneurs. From his cognac brand Le Chemin du Roi to his champagne line, his film production company, his boxing promotions, and his numerous television projects, 50 has built a diversified business empire that's far more sustainable than music royalties alone. What many don't know is that 50 personally studies the balance sheets of every company he invests in, often surprising executives with his detailed financial knowledge. Beyond business, 50's philanthropic work is rarely highlighted. His G-Unity Foundation has provided grants to nonprofit organizations nationwide, focusing on academic enrichment in low-income communities. He's funded entrepreneurship programs and scholarship initiatives aimed at giving underprivileged youth the business education he never had. He even partnered with the United Nations to tackle hunger in Africa, showing a global consciousness that contrasts with his ruthless public image. The untold truth about 50 Cent is that beneath the controversies and feuds lies one of the most strategic minds in entertainment, a man who transformed himself from a street hustler to a global brand by understanding one fundamental truth. In business, as in life, adaptation is everything. From bulletproof vests to boardrooms, 50 Cent's journey isn't just a hip-hop success story. It's an American dream realized through relentless reinvention and calculated risk-taking.